Solving techniques using C, Unit 1, Session 2, which is for the program BSc, Bachelor of Science, subject the problem solving techniques using C, semester first, University, Karnataka University, Dharwad, Session 2. Recap of the previous session, what we have learned in the previous session. So we have learned about the data, what is the data, what is the classification of the data, and what do you mean by processing, how we are going to apply the processing and the information, how we are going to get the information, definition of the computer, uses of the computer, history and evolution of computers, and characteristics of the computer. This is what we have learned in the previous sessions. Learning objectives. The types of computer. What are the different types of computer that we are going to use? Then followed with the generations of the computer. So what are the different generations of the computer that we have? Followed with outcomes of this particular session is need of a different types of computer. Why we require the different types of computer? Why we cannot able to apply the same computer for each and every field? So what is the distinction in between them? Is there any requirement of different computers? So we will see it at the end of the session. Okay. Then we come across types of computer. Basically, the computers are classified into two types based on data handling capabilities. Another one is based on speed and computing power. So basically, the computers are classified broadly into based on data handling capabilities. Another one is based on speed and computing power. Based on data handling capabilities, it is further divided into analog computer, digital computer, and hybrid computer. Based upon the data handling capabilities, it is further classified into analog, digital, and hybrid. We will see it one by one. Analog computer is a one in which it is going to accept the continuous form of data. So there is no breakage in between the data. So it is going to accept the data in the form of continuous signals such as continuous monitoring of pressure, temperature. Like this way we can able to use. Such type of computers what we are going to call it as analog computer. Digital computer is a one in which it is going to accept the discrete form of data, where discrete means the data might not be continuous, such as it might able to accept digital data such as zeros and ones. Since the computers can capable of understanding only zeros and ones, that is bits, zeros and ones. Zero means here zero voltage, one means other than zero voltage will be considered as one voltage. So this type of computers what we are going to call it as digital computers. Followed with hybrid computers. A hybrid computer is a computer in which it is a combination of both analog as well as a digital computer. That means it is capable of accepting the continuous data as well as the digital data, and such type of computer what we are going to call it as a hybrid computer. Continued. Based upon the speed and the computing power, further the computers can be classified into several categories, and these categories are: first one is PC. PC stands for personal computer. It is further subdivided into desktop, laptop, tablet, smartphones. Desktop that we are going to use in our colleges, schools, and offices, and laptops we already used. Some of your laptop we already used. Tablet and smartphones. These are the examples for the personal computer. Followed with workstations. In order to work with a company and organizations, we are going to use the workstations where a bundled number of computers are connected to a particular stations which are going to be capable of providing a common software, a common platform to work for the employees. Such type of systems what we are going to call it as workstations. Then we come across the server. In order to handle a high amount of data and high processing capabilities, we require the servers. Then we have the mini computer and the microcomputer and the mainframe computer, and followed with the supercomputers. Here, the mainframe computers are those which are used for capability of processing a very huge amount of data and huge processing power. These are meant for a particular big organization and enterprises where these might able to see the mainframe computers. And then we finally followed with the supercomputers which are used for launching of the satellite vehicles, satellites, and getting back the information from the satellites, and keeping a track of the satellites where it can able to move, and imaging. Even though many activities can be performed through by using the supercomputers, These are far more better and far more powerful than that of the other type of systems that we are already come across in this particular unit. Supercomputers are the super powerful than that of the any another computer which is available in this particular category. Followed by that, computer generations. Basically, the computer generations is broadly classified into two types. One is non-electronic, other one is electronic. Non-electronic, where there was a no invent of electronic devices at the beginning or in the olden days, we are going to use the normal computers which are not having any electronic devices. Such a type of computers what we are going to call it as not electronic generations, such as abacus. These are the devices which are come across in the non-electronic generations. In the electronic generations, we come across these are the different categories are there. We will see what are the different electronic generations of the computer. Computer generations, that is electronic generations. It is broadly classified into different types. First one is first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and the fifth generation. Broadly, the electronic generation is classified into first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and fifth generation. Okay. The first generation of computers we come across, these are developed in between 1946 to 1959. Second, built with vacuum tubes at a speed of 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. These are built on the vacuum tubes. These are having capable of processing the 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. Then, these are having the very limited primary memory. That is also one of the restrictions of using the first generation computer. Used a magnetic drum as the secondary storage device for storing the huge amount of data. To store very huge amount of data, they are using magnetic drum as the secondary storage devices. That is why the first generation computers are going to take up the very huge amount of area to process all the computer capabilities. They are having very less storage space. Followed with used punched card and magnetic tape input and output operations. They use the punched card as well as the magnetic tape to input and output operations in the first generations that we already come across in the first session itself. So machine language program was adapted in these machines. Machine language is the language which is very nearer to the machines. Machines can capable of understanding only the zeros and ones, and these zeros and ones are called as bits. Bits means zeros and ones. So anything that is a zero voltage, it will be considered as zero. Anything other than zero will be considered as a one. That is why these are called as a digital, because in digital we are going to call it as having only binary. Binary number system is used. That is why in binary we are having only either 0 or 1. So the machine language was introduced in the first generation, used for both scientific and business based applications. Examples of the first generation computers are ENIAC, electronic numerical integrator and calculator, universal automatic computer, electronic delay variable automatic computer, etc. These are the examples for the first generation computer. Then we come across the second generation. We are dealing with the generations of the computer. So then we come across the second generation. The second generation, it was developed in between the era 1957 to 1964. Then which was built with transistors. Here the transistors were used, but whereas in the first generation they used the vacuum tubes were used. The speed was 10 to the power of minus 6. But whereas in the first generation it is having only 10 to the power of minus 3 seconds. More primary memory and higher reliability. Here in the second generation we are having a little bit more primary memory than that of the first generation of systems. Okay, and high-level programming languages such as Fortran, Fortran transfer, formula translation, and followed with Pascal and Algol. These are the different programming languages which are introduced in the second generation. Then followed with they used both the multi-programming, they used the multi-programming time sharing systems and the real-time processing. These are all the different concepts that were introduced in the second generation. Then the examples of second generation systems are CDC 3600, IBM 700, IBM 140, ICL 10, Example CDC 3600, IBM 700, IBM 140, ICL 1901, UNIVAC 1108. These are the examples of the second generation, followed with third generation. The third generation systems were developed in between the era 1965 to 1970, built with integrated circuits, 10 to 100 transistors in a single silicon chip. The integrated circuits are those which are made up of 10 to 100 transistors in a single silicon chip. These are called as ICs. ICs are in short, they are called as integrated circuits. The speed was 10 to the power of -9 seconds. The semiconductor memory, the higher reliable and reduced size. Semiconductor memory was used in the third generation with a greater reliability and reduced size of the computers than that of the first generation as well as the second generation due to the advent of the integrated circuits. Then we come across the concept of operating system OS. Concept of then we come across the concept of operating system, that is OS, and multi-programming, then followed with parallel processing introduced in the third generation, then used in weather forecasting, airline reservation, banking services, and many other fields. Examples of the third generation systems are IBM System 360, CDC 395, Cyber 175. These are the systems examples for the third generations.